While driving around the city, Elon Musk came upon a homeless mother and her child who were having a hard time. You will be shocked by what he did next, but it will also give you hope in humanity again. Los Angeles had a cool evening. The sun had only just started to set. Bathed in the city in a gentle golden light, Elon Musk, who had just finished a series of heated meetings, strolled out of his Tesla office with his mind racing with ideas about the future of technology and sustainable living. However, even with all of the innovative projects he had going on, there was a feeling of restlessness in his soul that no amount of creativity could seem to alleviate. While he was driving across the city in his sleek Model S, his mind wandered. He thought about the weight of his obligations, the expectations that were placed on him, and the continual pressure to push the boundaries of what was possible. Everything seemed burdensome. And he was aware he was making a difference in the world, but he occasionally questioned whether he was having a positive impact on people's lives. He was just about to go home when he noticed something, a figure sitting on the side of the road, slumped down and holding a young child closely. It was a woman who was obviously homeless. Her clothing were old and filthy, and her face showed how tired she was. Even though she was in a terrible circumstance, she was attempting to console her child by whispering words of comfort, as if she could shield him from the harsh realities of their lives. Elon slowed down, and his heart felt a tug that he hadn't experienced in a long time. He parked his luxury car and waited for a time, watching the woman from the comfort of the vehicle. She was completely unnoticed by the busy world that around her. People passed by without a second glance. Automobiles flew past, and the city continued to march on, indifferent to her misery. He got out of his car and walked toward her after a short period of time. He spoke softly, not wanting to frighten her. "Excuse me," he whispered. The woman raised her head, her eyes wide with a combination of terror and tiredness. "You doing all right?" For a minute, she was unclear whether or not she could trust him, and she hesitated. She eventually spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're just trying to get by. I don't know what else to do." It's been difficult. Elon could see the agony in her eyes and the desperation in the words she spoke. He crouched down next to her in an effort to get on her level and demonstrate that he was not just another random person walking by. "How long have you been in this place?" The mom looked at her infant, who was now falling asleep in her arms, and sighed. "A couple months. We have lost everything. I have been trying to stay strong for my son since my spouse died, but it is difficult. I really have no idea how much longer we can keep this up." Elon felt heartbroken for her. She was here, fighting to stay alive while the world around her appeared to be completely unaware. After hearing her narrative, he was aware that he could not simply leave. He said in a gentle voice, "What is your name?" "Maria." She said, her voice trembling. Elon stated to Maria, "I understand that everything seems impossible at the moment, but I want to help. I can't image what you've gone through, but I think that there is always hope. Allow me to do something for you and your son." She stared at him, bewildered, not knowing whether this was true or just a terrible prank. "What are you trying to say?" Elon got up and pulled out his phone. "We have been working on a project at Tesla that is a little house that is fully off the grid, sustainable, and powered by solar energy. As intended to be a location for people who need a new beginning, where they may live peacefully without having to worry about paying bills or utility costs. I want you to own one." Maria's eyes were wide with surprise as she glanced at him. "Are you talking about a house? However, I do not have the financial means." Elon intervened in a gentle manner, saying, "You won't have to pay for anything. Think of it as a present. You and your son should have a secure location to live. You have experienced a lot." Maria held her kid tightly, and tears began to fill her eyes. She murmured, "I don't know what to say. Nobody's ever done anything like this for us before." Elon responded with a friendly smile, saying, "You don't need to say anything. Keep in mind that this is the start of something better." Elon took care of all the necessary arrangements throughout the course of the next few days. Mariah and her kid were finally able to enjoy some stability when the Tesla tiny house was delivered and put up in a calm and safe neighborhood. The house has solar panels, a water filtration system, and everything else they needed to live comfortably. Maria and her son were left speechless when they saw their new home for the first time. Even though the little house was modest, it was brilliantly designed, modern, sleek, and filled with light. It exceeded anything they could have ever anticipated. Elon went to see them not long after the house was delivered because he wanted to witness their reaction in person. He stood in front of the small house, watching Maria and her kid explore their new home. As he did, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, deep sense of fulfillment. This was not about coming up with new ideas or advancing technology. This was about leveraging what he had created to make a real difference in someone's life. Maria approached him, her face wet with tears. Thank you, she responded, her voice full of feeling. You have provided us with more than just a place to live. You have given us hope. Elon grinned and his own eyes sparkled with emotion. You both deserve it. And keep in mind that this is only the start. Things will improve from this point forward. Elon couldn't stop thinking about how a simple act of kindness might have such a big impact as he drove away that evening. It served as a reminder that in spite of all the complexities of his world, the projects, the innovations, the ceaseless quest to progress, sometimes the most essential thing he could do was connect with others on a human basis. Mrs. Maria and her son had been living in the shadows, but as Elon helped them, he came to the realization that it wasn't only about using technology to change the future. It was also about making a difference in people's lives right now. He believed that was the most important thing. Maria's tale became an inspiration to many people in the months that followed. The Tesla Small House Initiative received a lot of attention, and additional units were constructed to assist families in similar circumstances. Like it was a little step, but it was a step in the right direction. It have served as a reminder that even in a society driven by innovation, compassion would always have a place. Elon continued to check in on Maria and her son from time to time, always humbled by their fortitude and strength. They had discovered a sense of security and a fresh start, all due to the fact that someone had taken the time to listen, to see them, and to provide assistance. Ultimately, that was the most significant accomplishment of all. Elon continued to check in on Maria and her son from time to time, always humbled by their fortitude and strength. They had discovered a sense of security and a fresh start, all due to the fact that someone had taken the time to listen, to see them, and to provide assistance. In many ways, it reminded Elon that sometimes the largest differences are made not by grand gestures, but by simple moments of humanity. Months passed, and Maria started to flourish. Having the protection of a home allowed her to concentrate on her job search once more. Now she began seeking for jobs and eventually got hired as a receptionist at a nearby clinic. It wasn't flashy, but it was enough to help her get back on her feet. Now she was finally able to relax a little bit, knowing that her kid had a safe place to sleep at night, food to eat, and a future that seemed more secure than it had in the past. Elon observed more progress every time he checked in. Her son, who used to be quiet and withdrawn, was now running about the yard of their Tesla little house, laughing and playing like any other child his age. Mariah was happy to show Elon the most recent drawings that he had produced in class, which were posted on the refrigerator. He had just started school, and she was beaming with joy. Maria frequently discussed how this encounter had altered her outlook on life. One day, she told Elon, "I used to feel invisible. It seemed like no matter how hard I tried, no one cared. But now I know that there are people out there who do care. You have demonstrated that to me." Elon was really affected when he heard this. He had dedicated his life to creating companies that sought to make a significant impact on the world. Yet this modest, unremarkable house was evidence that even the tiniest of actions could have a remarkable effect. It reminded him that while he had a strong desire to improve space travel or discover sustainable energy solutions, he could also make a significant impact by assisting people one at a time. Over time, Maria started to volunteer at a homeless shelter in her area when she had some free time. She would take her son with her, hoping that he would learn the value of giving back. Just like Elon had done for them, she offered words of inspiration and hope to the ladies and families who were in the same situation she had once been in. Oh, she would say to them, her voice full of compassion, "If I can get through it, so can you. There are people who are concerned. Keep going." Maria's progress made Elon feel proud. She was no longer the scared and tired lady he had encountered on that chilly night. She had become a symbol of hope for others, demonstrating the strength of kindness and determination. Her youngster was also doing well. During one visit, Maria happily told Elon that he had begun making friends, doing well in school, and had aspirations of becoming an engineer. She smiled and remarked, "Just like you," which made Elon laugh. Elon invited Maria and her kid to come and see one of the Tesla factories one day. He did it for exceptional guests, those who had influenced him in some manner. Maria's son was ecstatic and could not believe that he was going to visit the place where Tesla cars were manufactured. While they were touring the facility, Elon described the details of the equipment, the accuracy of the robots, and the company's ambition. The boy's eyes were wide with amazement as he listened closely. Elon knelt down to the boy's level when they were outside at the end of the tour. "I started with nothing as well," he added. "You know that, right? I put in a lot of effort, I remained inquisitive, and I never lost hope. As long as you continue to put in the effort and study, you will be able to do anything." The child bowed his head, his expression one of determination. He said, "I want to be like you. I want to create things that improve the world." Elon smiled, feeling really moved by what the youngster had spoken. He responded, "And you will. You have everything you need already." Years passed, and though Elon's world was still full of the unending push to innovate and make progress, He never forgot about Mariah and her son. They kept in contact and exchanged news about their lives. Each time he met them, he was reminded of the reason he had begun this journey in the first place, to improve the world for everyone. Maria was finally able to save enough money to leave the Tesla little house and move into a bigger home. While she purchased the house with her own money, which she had earned through hard work, it was not a large house, but it was hers. Elon was as proud as could be when she shared the news with him. He shook her hand and added, "You've made a lot of progress. You are responsible for this." Maria's eyes were filled with gratitude as she smiled. Her voice was filled with emotion. She said, "I couldn't have done it without you." Elon, always humble in occasions like these, shook his head. "You always had it in you. I only gave you a small nudge." Elon frequently thought about the journey they had taken as Maria and her kid adjusted to their new existence. While it was one thing to dream of transforming the world through technology and innovation, it was a quite different experience to witness the firsthand impact of compassion in action. He had given Maria a second opportunity, but in doing so, she'd given him something as well, a reminder of the power of empathy, of taking the time to see the people around us, and of how much one tiny act of kindness can ripple outwards. Elon was motivated by this event in ways that he did not anticipate. He started looking for methods to grow the Tesla tiny house project so that more families in need would have access to affordable and ecological housing. So it became a passion project for him, something that reminded him of the human side of his work. Elon felt a sense of fulfillment that no financial accomplishment or commercial triumph could ever match every time a new tiny house was handed to a family in need. Ultimately, the narrative of Elon Musk and Maria was not solely about a single act of generosity. It was about the ability we all have to make a positive impact on the lives of others. That was a narrative of perseverance, optimism, and the conviction that we all have the ability to make a difference in the world in our own unique manner, regardless of our size or stature. And for Elon, that was the most significant achievement of all. He had dedicated his life to pursuing lofty goals, but while assisting Mariah, he discovered something far more precious, a bond with the very essence of mankind. This is a reminder that progress is not only about technology or invention, it is also about helping one another, one person at a time. Jeff, thank you for taking the time to watch this video and for joining me and reflecting on such an inspiring story of compassion and hope. I hope this tale of Elon Musk, Maria, and her son has touched your heart and reminded you of the incredible impact a single act of kindness can have. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about the power of humanity, resilience, and innovation, don't forget to subscribe to Velvet Sovereigns. By subscribing, you'll be the first to discover even more uplifting and thought-provoking stories that inspire us to make the world a better place. Stay tuned for more incredible narratives that will leave you feeling hopeful and empowered. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.